to our February 20th regular District 228 board meeting. Can I get roll call, please?
Mrs. Gleason? Mrs. Bliss? Here. Ms. Lott?
Here.
Ms. Motley?
Here.
Ms. Stearns?
Here.
Mr. Wickham?
Here.
Mrs. Russell?
Here. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to our board meeting approval, can I get a motion to approve the January 16th, 2024 regular meeting minutes?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, seconded by Ms. Motley. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Wickham?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Bliss? Aye. Ms. Lott?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Abstain.
Mrs. Russell?
Aye. Can I get a motion to approve the February 13th, 2024 Committee of the Whole and closed meeting minutes?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Motley, seconded by Ms. Stearns. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Ms. Bliss? Aye. Ms. Lott?
Aye.
Mr. Wickham?
Aye.
Mrs. Russell?
Aye. Moving on to our reports. Our first report is our superintendent report.
Thank you, Mrs. Russler. Just a brief couple of items on my agenda today. One, just an invite on behalf of Bremen High School to the Board of Education. If you're around town between 9 and 2 this Thursday at Bremen, they are hosting their Health and Prosperity Fair. There's a lot of different vendors, community partners that take time out of the day there to present. So again, this Thursday, 9 to 2, Bremen Health and Prosperity Fair, if you're around and you'd like to pop by. Secondly, just want to let you know that Mr. Towner, Principal at Hillcrest, and I have been invited to participate in some community engagement for the next, the search for the next superintendent in one of our feeder schools, Prairie Hills District 144. So we're happy to speak on behalf of the board. If there's anything specifically you'd like to give either he or I in terms of feedback, we'll be happy to relay that. Otherwise, I think we got a really good connection going that we'd like to keep with their new superintendent. So we'll be there this Thursday night. Anytime between now and then, if you got anything you'd like me to mention, please feel free to shoot me an email. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our principal reports.
Hey everyone, good evening. Happy New Year. I apologize if this is a month delayed, but I appreciate you guys giving me an opportunity today to recognize one of our staff members who earned the Keeper of Light for semester 1. Today I am nominating Darcy Walker. If you would like to stand up, please. Come on down. This one wonderful step. Darcy Walker has been a teacher over at the Delta program since we started 6 years ago, and she was nominated specifically for this award from Kelsey Nealon, who's one of our Achieve teachers in the program. However, I think it goes, I speak for everybody when I say that Darcy is truly one of the definition, I think, of a keeper of a light for the district and also for our Delta Academy program. So I'm very excited to present her with this award today. I would like to embarrass her for a second, though, and read what Ms. Nealon did have to say about her, because Darcy does go above and beyond for everybody all the time, so I think that she needs a moment to be recognized. Darcy is the definition of keeper of the light. Day in and day out, Darcy keeps the light at Delta. Despite whatever is going on in her outside life or at school, Darcy is always in a positive mood. She brings so much to the table for us at Delta and is someone anyone would be grateful to have on their team. Darcy has changed the lives of so many students in the most positive way. To know Darcy as a person, work with her as a colleague, and to have her as a teacher is to love her. And I would second that repeatedly. As some of you may know, I was out for a little bit here, and while my entire team stepped up in so many ways, Darcy was truly one of the pillars of keeping the place running and having things run smoothly. She held intake meetings, she met with parents, new students, just kind of jumped in without any hesitation or question about it, and I know that I'm very grateful for that. So I think it's very deserving of having her be our Keeper of the Light for this school year so far, and I appreciate everything you're doing.
Well, thank you. I learned from the best.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Taller than you.
They want to stay, but I'm going to let the 8-year-old
Oh yeah, he really wants to.
They're getting ice cream tonight, so we're going to let them go.
Thank you, guys.
Good evening. On behalf of Bremen High School, we'd like to talk about some of our winter athletic activity and academic highlights. In regards to girls basketball, Skylar Brownlow eclipsed the 1,000 point mark last week against Eisenhower High School. It is the first time in 17 seasons that our girls basketball program finished with a winning record. They lost last Thursday to Marion Catholic in the regional championship. Wrestling received the SSC Sportsmanship Award. Anjane Bartholomew was our first ever sectional wrestler to qualify for sectionals. And we had two students, Adrian Esparza and Marco Olvera, that qualified for state last weekend at the state competition. Boys swimming did receive the SSC Sportsmanship Award. Our girls bowling program were team sectional qualifiers. RJ Avila for boys wrestling, or boys bowling, was our regional champion, as well as made it to the second day in the state qualifications, which is something that only the top 30 bowlers get to on day 2. And then our POMs were also SSC Blue Conference champions. Dr. Shakur already talked about our wellness fair. Christina Botica in our TEP Transitions program hosted a Learn How to Tie a Tie Day with our students, which was a great opportunity to teach them the life skills of how to be able to get ready for mock interviews. And then lastly, next Thursday, we will be sending over 50 students to the DECA state competition to hopefully qualify some of our students for nationals in Anaheim at the end of April. Thank you.
Good evening. A few items, some good news from Hillcrest this past month. Recently, Hillcrest was awarded 2 full-ride scholarships to Tougaloo University in Jackson, Mississippi, and Caitlin Tucker and Darren Stevens have accepted the scholarships and plan to attend school there this upcoming fall. On the athletic front, senior Eunice Brewer recently won the individual championship at girls bowling regionals. James Howard was an individual state qualifier in boys bowling, and we had Amari Brown and Kaven Sullivan both qualify for the state tournament in wrestling. On January 31st, we welcomed 130 8th graders, all of the incoming freshmen from Prairie Hills Junior High, to our Step Up Day that we had just created and started this month. Walked them through the building, showed them the different career pathways. They were able to choose their electives, had some different activities and some hawk giveaways and those types of things that ended up being a really good event. Girls basketball also lost in the regional championship last week to Providence in a real close game. But last Wednesday, they went to Fernway Elementary School in Tinley, and along with some other schools, surprised over 100 first and second graders with brand new scooters. Then on Saturday, same girls basketball participated in the Free Throws for Cancer event for St. Jude, and they ended up making over 500 free throws and raised over about $350. And then last, our college career counselor, Brandy Mathis, has been taking our students once a week for the last 5 weeks on different union field trips. So far they've seen the electricians, carpenters, pipe fitters, and iron workers union, and there's a scheduled event with the bricklayers union coming up real soon. Last but not least, last time we hosted at Hillcrest, I read you all a nomination form for Miss Teresa Kelsey for Those Who Excel Teacher of the Year Award. We found out last Tuesday that she is a recipient of that award, and she'll be honored in May down in Bloomington from the Illinois State Board of Education.
Greetings from Bengal Nation. A few good news reports from the athletic department. Our boys swim won the SSC Blue Conference Championship. Our girls wrestling won the SSC Conference Championship. Our boys wrestling won the regional championship, and they are wrestling tonight for the sectional championship. Cheer and competitive dance both qualified for state, and we have multiple students who have competed in the wrestling state competition. Jake Seebeck, Jimmy Mayer, Austin Perez, Hunter Daniel, and Jackson Castaneda all qualified, and they competed this past weekend. And we have girls competing at the state competition this weekend in girls wrestling. We have Ayobsa Odesai, Izzy Peralta and Jessica Komalafi. And we actually have been certainly blessed with wonderful coaches at Oak Forest. We had 3 of our coaches named SSC Coach of the Year. That would be Coach Mike DeLuga with swim and dive. We have Coach Seebeck with girls wrestling, and then Coach Jen Bezier for dance, SSC Coach of the Year. That's in our athletics. On our activity end, this Friday we are going to host the first Destiny Olympics. If any of you are around, you're welcome to attend. That starts at 10:45 with awards at 12:45. We also on this Saturday are hosting an Interact and Rotary free pancake breakfast. They pair that with a blood drive, so you can go give blood and then go fill up with some free pancakes, and that's from 9 to 1:30. So breakfast or lunch for those pancakes. Our chess qualified for state last week. They had a great showing with 2 of our students. We had Eduardo Nota won a bronze medal. He had 5.5 wins at board 1, and we had a freshman, Justin Zarinskis, had an impressive 6 wins at board 6. So we've also qualified students for BPA state. We had 18 state qualifiers, 6 of them taking first place and 10 taking second place. So we're looking forward to some wonderful things from them at the state competition. This year, Oak Forest set a goal to really focus on community service hours and making sure that our kids are getting recognition for all the different hours that they're putting in. And I'm happy to report that we have 190 Bengals so far logging community service hours, and they have now reached the 4,000 hours as of this week for this school year. It's been a while since we gave a good news report, and I just want to mention, I know it got some really nice press there around the holidays, but one of our graduates, Robbie Avila, I think probably most of you on the board saw that he was highlighted for really wanting to give back to the school and back to our basketball program. And so he gifted all of the students with some nice new gym shoes to wear during the season. So I just wanted to publicly thank him and wish him and our other graduate, Jason Kent, good luck as they continue on with the Indiana State Sycamores, wishing them a successful rest of the season. And that's all. Thank you.
All right, on behalf of the Titans, as far as our good news report and our presentation rolled into one, you know, it's February and it's 60 degrees outside and the sun is shining, and so we might as well just keep on that shining roll here. My presentation is actually not a formal presentation about programs or things that are happening here at Tinley, but it's people connected to Tinley Park High School that I think that you should know. Standing there in the background there, Officer Shmuziak. Last Thursday was National School Resource Officer Day, so I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Officer Shmuziak and at least introduce you guys to our school resource officer. He's been a fantastic addition to our Titan family. So in the category of safety, next I would like to ask Wendy Bumpus to come up here and join me. And I know Wendy Bumpus is a familiar face to you, but a couple weeks ago, Wendy was actually presented with the Outstanding Volunteer Award from the Tinley Park Chamber of Commerce. And you might be going, well, Teresa, I know that you're connected with the chamber and you probably made this happen, and I didn't. Wendy actually received this award because what you might not know about Wendy, because she may not necessarily put it out there on blast, is that she is actually the president of the Tinley Park Frankfurt Rotary Club. Through her service and dedication and volunteerism through Rotary, they connect with the chamber and they bring people to help us out with run our events and things of that nature. She has been a true leader in that spirit, bringing her Rotarians to chamber events to help us with the wide variety of things that we do locally here with the Village of Tinley Park. So she was awarded this from the mayor of Tinley Park just a couple weeks ago. And would you like to share a few words?
I'd just like to echo what Teresa was saying. Rotary, I've been a Rotarian for 15 years, the 15 years that I've been in this position as assistant principal. And the motto is service above self. So that this truly is an embodiment of Rotary, of who I am, and so it is always my pleasure to volunteer, to give back. And then we reap the benefits as a school, our students, we provide scholarships. So it definitely is an honor, so I am very happy to be recognized. I'd also like to thank our school board because of the emphasis that you guys put on community relationships and making sure that the administrators are connected to the community. That's how I never heard of Rotary before taking this position. So thank you guys for the continued support, recognizing the importance of community service, community connections, and how it benefits our students, and I will continue to work hard through Rotary to make sure that our District 228 students reap all the benefits possible. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
I really appreciate Ms. Bumpus. She's one of our
She's
secret
all right.
one of our greatest assets that you never hear much about.
Thank you.
For new people, we had a student come here who said that he didn't think he would be alive if it weren't for Ms. Bumpus. Rather than getting in trouble after school, she would say, hey, there's garbage cans that need to be emptied. So that's the kind of person she is, and we're very lucky to have her.
Thank you.
Very much so.
Thanks, Debbie.
So we have police officer, we have administrator, and now I'm gonna ask teacher coach Chris Vitt to come on up here with me. Chris Vitt, also just a couple weeks ago, was invited to the Village of Tinley Park because the mayor actually created a formal proclamation in his honor. That proclamation reads, recognizing Coach Chris Vitt for his selection as the 2023 Athletico Coach of the Year. Whereas Coach Chris Vitt has a 17-year history as both a social studies teacher and a sports coach at Tinley Park High School. And whereas Coach Vitt's direction and mentorship led the Tinley Park High School varsity football team to the state playoffs within a year of his taking the leadership of the varsity football program. And whereas Coach Vitt's dedication to ensuring his student athletes receive the support and resources they need to succeed in the classroom enables them to realize their full potential. And whereas Coach Vitt's achievements reflect great credit upon himself and benefit not only the student athletes of Tinley Park High School, but our village and community as a whole. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the President and Board of Trustees of the Village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will County, Illinois, that Coach Chris Vitt be celebrated for attaining the coveted award of the 2023 Athletico Coach of the Year and commended for his unwavering dedication to fostering a culture of continuous learning, character development, and academic achievement amongst his athletes, approved the 6th day of February.
I don't really do well with like accepting awards and things like that. So I just want to say thank you. I don't know if you guys know, I'm Tinley Park, born and raised. I spent most of my life up and down 167th Street. All my brothers and sisters went here, been teaching here for 17 years, coaching here for 17 years. And this place is an awesome place, special place. We have a lot of great people here who care a lot about kids. You know, sports, a lot of people look at wins and losses as a big thing. I look at what are you giving these kids to go on to the next step. To me, that's a bigger measure of success than wins or losses or anything like that. Is what are these kids gonna do when they get out of here? If they're contributing members of societies, good people, you know, gentlemen, to me, that's more important than wins and losses. So there's an awesome award. I'm glad to accept it on the kids' behalf, coaches' behalf, teachers' behalf. So very cool award, and I'm glad to be able to get it. Thank you.
I also just want to let you
Anytime you
know
wanna speak,
that,
more than happy to speak.
when he
Thank you.
received that award at the Village Hall, he literally said, thank you, and walked away. So you got a heck of a lot more out of him than the Village of Tinley Park did. So again, police officer, administrator, teacher, and now we are going to teacher, but an extraordinary teacher, but we're moving into our activity realm. Our chess team did get to participate in the state competition, and our chess team is here to meet all of you tonight. So at this point in time, I would like to congratulate Coach Mark Rice for making it to the state finals, and why don't you come on up and tell them about your experience.
All right, I do have a couple of things to say. Number one, I'm the one who's been spending all of your money. I want to say, please keep giving us that money. So I think you need to know what you're getting for your investment, and I think it's worth every penny. And a couple of things. Number one, I work directly with Wendy Bumpus, and I think absolutely deserving of an award. It is so easy to work with Ms. Bumpus, and I coach 4 things here. I would not do that if it was a miserable experience. And so Ms. Bumpus has been so supportive, and most of our success, I would say, is because you've made it. So you put me in a position where I can help all these kids. So thank you for that. And thank you for the support from the board. We really appreciate it. Last year, we qualified for the first time. I just took the team over, and the state tournament was new to everybody. So one thing you should know, the Illinois State Chess Tournament is the largest in the world. It is something that no other state does. You have 128 schools, there's 1,500 kids. Indiana does not do anything on that scale. No one else does. Montana, I've heard, comes close, but it's a special thing for these kids, so I love bringing them there. Number two, there's a kid who's not here today that means a lot to these players, and that's Matthew Barry. We lost him tragically. These kids lost a friend, and they lost a teammate, and so for us to feel connected to him, that means the world to me. And more importantly, these kids are working so hard, and when we drove down there, you know, we're down there for a couple of days. We meet in the lobby at 7 a.m. for breakfast. We get back about 10 p.m., and then the next day you do the same thing. It is the most grueling tournament I've ever seen at this level. And these kids are working their butts off. Even in the last round, which by the last day, the last round, we were playing Sandburg, kids start offering draws. They just want to go home. And as the coach, part of, you know, I'm kind of like, you know what, it wouldn't be such a bad thing. I would love to get out of here. But I told them, hey, the board has given us this money. We are down here to do our best. And they've invested in us. And we had a student, he was offered a draw, saw a way he could win, and over an hour it took him. And so we are one of the last schools there, but that's what we're doing with your money. He ended up winning that game. He's a freshman. And as a coach, that's what I love to point out. I love that spirit. You're here to play. You're here to get better. We aren't just here to go eat pepperoni pizza. So these kids are working really hard. I'm super proud of them. And I would like you to meet them. And I will also echo, I see what Chris Vitt is doing around here. And there are so many great things happening at Tinley. And if we don't show up here to tell you about them, you just wouldn't know. So on a sunny day in February, I'm happy to say this chess team is a microcosm of so many great things that are happening. You have a supportive administration over here. You've got kids that are working so hard. And our first night at dinner, well, I could tell all the parents and the families that were there at this restaurant saw a high school group walking in. And you could see in their eyes they were disappointed. Kids are pushing all these tables together, and before we left, an elderly couple came up to all of us and just said, we got an award. We are a pleasure to dine with. And I gotta say, I didn't teach them etiquette, I didn't teach them manners, that is all from their parents. These kids are coming from wonderful families, and so I would like to acknowledge that as well. It really, to me, is a community coming together, and we wanna just keep growing and getting more people involved. And so about half of our members could show up today. So I would like the Titan chess teams to come on over and introduce themselves to you, and you should see where your investment has gone. I haven't taught them this part yet.
This is where you make eye contact with your hands. Nice job. Post-COVID practice. Someone just came from a track meet. Thank you to our chess students, and actually, thank you to Mr. Rice one more time. I'm gonna have him head out to the hallway, take a picture with his group. But I would be remiss if I didn't point out that today is Mr. Rice's birthday. So here are some bunties. Many birthday cakes and singing happy birthday in the hallway. Thank you, Mr. Rice. Again, I have to say thank you for letting me have the most fabulous job in the world, because this is who I get to work with every day. So I wanted you to meet them as well. Thank you for letting me take the time to use that as my presentation tonight.
Thank you very much. All right, that completes our principal reports, and we are moving on to item 3.1,
Dressler. Since the last regular board meeting, we've received the following Freedom of Information Act requests. Alfredo Lozano, National Hispanic Institute, requested directory information of honor roll students from high school graduating class 27, 26, and 25. Directory information being name, address, high school, phone, and email. This request has been completed. Julie Dustin, Product Development Editor, requested the companies who submitted bids and their bid amount for the project bid on 1/31/2024. This request has been completed. And finally, Christopher Rubelt from Midlothian requested information regarding the property tax abatement authorized in 2019 for District 228 for $3.3 million. Specifically noticed that the district ever received the funds, and more importantly, if the abatement was returned to taxpayers. This request has also been completed. That's all.
Thank you very much. Moving on to board members. Any board member reports? Go ahead.
Yeah, so I had the pleasure of attending the Student of the Month recognition lunch at Delta Academy. It was a wonderful time. I always enjoy attending events at Delta. I told Mrs. Collins the energy there was like a warm hug. So I really enjoyed my time with those students and getting to know them and their stories. Also, as Mr. Towner mentioned, the Bricklayers Union will go to Hillcrest High School. My father's a recently retired bricklayer. He was just kind of sitting around. He goes, "Has any of our reps gone to the school?" I said, "Well, let me find out." So I reached out to Dr. Sikora. Mr. Towner immediately reached out to me. Ms. Mathis reached out to me, so we're getting the Bricklayers Union out there. I am a huge supporter of the trades. The trades put food on the table and sent me to college. So I just want to thank you both for your support in getting our students connected to Bricklayers Union and other trades.
Thank you. Any other board member reports? All right, moving on to new business. Ms. Morrison, item 4.1.
Item 4.1 is the bills, addendum to bills, payroll, and CDS bills. These items are being recommended for full board approval.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Motley, second by Mr. Whitcomb. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Motley? Aye. Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Bliss? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye. Item 4.2.
Item 4.2 is the spring 2024 athletic supplies and equipment bids totaling $8,572.48. This item is being recommended for full board approval.
Second. Moved by Ms. Motley, second by Ms. List. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Bliss? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye. Item 4.3, Ms. Morrison.
Bids were solicited for seal coating and restriping of parking lots at Bremen and Hillcrest High School in the summer of 2024. Bids were opened and read aloud on January 31st, 2024 at the District Administrative Center. Patriot Pavement Maintenance submitted a low responsible bid. They were interviewed to the scope and sequence of the project. Their references came back in good standing. Therefore, the bid submitted by Patriot Pavement Maintenance at a total cost of $49,000 is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Stearns. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye. Moving on to personnel recommendations. Dr. Goggins.
Thank you, Ms. Ressler. Under resignations, Josh O'Shea, Alyssa Brenner, and Fabiola Munoz. Under retirement, Sylvia Payton. Under leaves, Isaiah Aguirre, Jody Riley, Ashley Myers, Melissa Hennep, and Amir Ross. Under change in position, Daniel Stell. Under employment, Daniel Mack, Lily Holman, Joseph Abraham, Christina Cable, Dylan Hernandez, Diane Halyabecki, Kalila Howard, Cole Griffin, and Mariah Lewis. These are recommended to the full board for approval.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Motley, second by Ms. List. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye. Moving on to public comments. Reisner.
Don't,
Sorry
don't
about
read
that.
it. Don't. I'm a cheerleader. Do I get 4 minutes?
You get 5 minutes.
Oh,
Go
5
ahead.
minutes,
Yep.
okay. Thank you. Thank all you guys. Ran into a neighborhood child, or kids. How you doing? Good. I love Denver Park High School. A year and a half ago, I went there, my kids went there. This is great. Oh, they left. Chess. Without all jobs. I was a long time ago, but now it's your. But keep up the good work. Spread it out there, guys. This is a great school, Hillcrest, Bremen. You know, you all do a great job, okay? And it just aggravates me to death when people say, this and that. And I was involved a billion years ago when we had money problems. I had to go to the referendum. This is the best value in this high school, okay? Can I leave? Because I gotta get up at 4 tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
And this is, have her talk about my girls.
You didn't even tell me, this wasn't a plant, I didn't know it was
Well,
coming. I didn't in years.
I haven't seen the young doctor here in a while, but I saw this young lady Sunday, and I asked her, and she used that L word, Terry Park. And I've done that for a few people, this and that, and they went through here, they all love it, especially the parents, so I know what you guys are doing, it's great. Coffee sometime, all right? Bye.
All right, next, Stratton Harris.
Stringer.
Stringer.
How are you? How are you?
Good.
How you doing? I'm Stringer Harris. I am a alumni of Hillcrest, born and raised in Hazel Crest, lived at 3314 Birchwood all my life. My grandmother raised me, single parent, and what helped raise me was the village, the community, people that's in the community, and Hillcrest. I was a sport athlete. I played football. I ran track. I wrestled. And I was on the swim team. And with that being said, it rooted me into being what I would think at that time is just a really ongoing guy. But I was also a person that stayed in the dean's office. And from freshman and sophomore year, approaching my junior year, I wasn't thinking about college. I wasn't thinking about anything like that. I was just thinking about, can't wait to go to school to see my friends. Can't wait to go to school to play football. Until I met a man named Mr. Fields in Hazel Crest, who really took me under his wing and treated me like a son more than I would think at that particular age. He treated me better than he did his own kids. At which time I continued to play football, dropped off a few sports, and I found out that I can actually go to college playing football. At this time, I continued to just work hard in football, and I was able to get a full scholarship to Mississippi Valley State. And that was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, is going to HBCU school, and not just going, but to be able to finish. And as I began to just go on with my life, I had a son, and he's 9 years old, and I'm 42. I'll be 43 March 2nd. And my life has kind of went here for the most part, but I've always wanted to give back. So I started a thing called Team String. Team String started out as I'm just helping the community. I do this thing called Make the Homeless Smile Chicago 3 times a year, where I just go out and me and volunteers, we go out and make people smile, homeless. And after that, I said, man, we need to do some more. And so I started to think about it and say, how can I give back to kids similar to what I was struggling with, and I didn't have anybody in my life that I could look up to, and I can really say, hey, he's relatable. I can understand where he comes from. I can understand because he looks just like you and I, and he talks just like you and I, but we may have different courses. So I started Team String, I Am Not Forgotten. It's a mentoring program, and some of you guys, I believe I gave you some of these sheets when I first came in. I went to Hillcrest and talked to the principal, and I think that went great. I think it went great. It was kind of quick, but I wanted to let him know because he told me about other programs that came into the school that was somewhat unsuccessful. And why I'm here today is to let you know that I don't know what they was or those programs, but I'm willing to give it 10 out of 10 every time I step foot in that building because it means so much to me. And I had the opportunity to meet some of those guys back there on last week or the week before last and speak to these young men. And somebody wrote in there, because I do a survey, and it's basically saying, what would you want out of this program if you were presented with the program? And somebody said something about putting his business in the street. He said something, and I would say, when I was that age, because like I said, I didn't have a father in my life. And he said something that really touched my heart, and when I got home and looked at it, it put tears in my eyes. It made me cry. And he said, I want to be a better man than my father is. And that's what this is about. And I'm asking that you guys do whatever it is that you guys do in your power and the principal to allow this program to be full-time in this school. And on top of that, it costs you guys nothing. I don't need any money from you guys. I just need an opportunity to make this something that's a thing inside of the school to where I want the kids that's getting those referrals, because I understand it was a big problem 3 weeks ago at Hillcrest with fights. And sometimes these kids don't have people to come to. They don't have people to talk to. As you can see, it's a lot of women here. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's some fathers here, some uncles here. But these kids sometimes just need somebody to say, hey, it's tough. It's hard out here. And I'm willing to shoulder that to say, hey, come on, talk to me. And what we do is we teach these kids de-escalation skills. We teach these kids financial literacy. We teach these kids that, you know what you was yesterday does not mean that you have to be that same person today. And with that, it's a broad of things that we do to make them feel good about themselves. I have this thing called Team String Bucks. Some of these guys will tell you, did any of you guys get money last week? Week before last? Get my man right there. Yeah, so part of the program is just participate. You get stuff. You have to reach out to these kids and say, hey, I get it, I understand, thank you for participating. Reading things in the thing, and they take a pledge to say, hey, I'm gonna be a better person. And it's not just for young boys. This program is for young ladies too, because we leave them out. And these young girls have just as many issues as the boys do. And it's no program for the girls. It's just all boys related. And we have this thing where we take the boys to the Bulls game, and girls. Whoever is a part of the program, it is all free to you guys. It's not just, we do the state etiquette thing where we take them to a real nice restaurant. It's on my dime, not the state dime, it's on my dime, because I gotta pay for it. But we take them to Michael Jordan restaurant and we let them dress up. I heard somebody from another school say they did a tie event. That's awesome. That is awesome, because we do the same thing. And we teach them, hey, it ain't no phones at the table. We've normalized letting our kids have phones at the dinner table. Nah. Because when you do that, you can't get to know your kid. Even though you're in the same house with your kids, you don't know your kids because they stay in their phones. So we try to teach these kids, hey, let's put the phones down. Let's have conversations. How many minutes are left? Okay. 30 seconds. Also, school lights, Hillcrest. Like I said, I played football there. When I left Hillcrest and graduated in 2000, we didn't have lights. That probably had to be the worst feeling in the world. At every game we had to go to on Friday nights was Tinley, Bremen, other schools in the district. We just didn't have lights. One of the, I think the best moments is just being able to go back, I think that next year, knowing that Hillcrest had lights. I'm also a national activist. If you Google Stringer Harris, just put it in your phone, I come up, right?
young man got killed outside of Hillcrest, and I went on the news and I put up a reward for $2,000. And I feel like one isolated incident does not and should not affect the entire football team. It shouldn't affect the parents. It shouldn't affect anybody that has kids that's directly or parents directly affiliated with the football team. And I know my grandmother had a hard time getting up on Saturdays. Hard time getting up on Saturdays with working throughout the week and just trying to get up on Saturdays, take me, drop me off, pick me back up, it was tough. So I'm asking you guys to kind of reconsider whatever you gotta do. Look at the totality of what happened and understand that it was an isolated incident, and these kids shouldn't be punished, and more importantly, the parents shouldn't be punished. Thanks a lot.
Saw a couple other people pick up sheets. Do we have other, I just want to make sure we allot enough time for everybody. I do have 3 members listed as speaking regarding the schedule. So, we'll get to that. I think before we get to that, we have one more, Mark Johnson.
Happy New Year, everybody. Glad to be back. I had to go to Hazelcrest to remind them that we are all connected as far as tax money. If they come in and destroy the property value in Hazelcrest, then everybody, every community have to make up that loss. You couple that with right now, teachers, by the end of the contract, will be making about $500,000 in a poor community.
Mark,
Where does that number come from? Let me explain.
Please do not mislead the audience.
I'm not.
You two are.
I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm real confused.
You real confused?
Real confused.
Teachers work about 174 days. Times that by 2, it's 248 days. They get 15 days of sick pay. That means that's another 30 days they don't have to work. Brings it down to 318 days. That's 2 years at a salary of about $250,000 a year. Hmm? Huh?
They deserve more than that.
Do they?
Yes, as they should, because they put a
We
lot
are
of time
moving
in
into a
our-
transition, ma'am, where we are looking at AI and all the other things that are involved with teaching our kids.
Mark?
These kids,
Please keep it to the board. Thank you.
the kids,
And I'm good with it. They as they should. These
I'll be
teachers
happy to
deserve
speak
more
with
than
you,
that.
miss.
You can't check. They deserve more than that.
No, they don't.
Yes,
I just got off this board.
Wow.
They don't deserve that,
That
and
they
I don't
put
care
time
about
in
anybody
that I
disagreeing
should.
with me.
Yes,
Because
they
the average person in
They
our
should make what
community
the average-
make about $50,000.
They put a
Now
lot
you
of
gonna
time.
come out here and give these people
The kids
to
are the future.
the future, yes,
And they-
then we
they-
should
they-
protect them at all costs.
That we
Mr.
should
Johnson,
protect our
if you
teachers.
could just address the board,
Okay.
we have a few minutes left.
This,
Yeah, why don't you do that?
we're gonna do what we need to do to make our community safer all the way around. And it starts with a good board president. It does. It starts with a good board president that's not gonna be a flunky to everything that goes on here. We start out on a mission, you, me, and Christine, with Larry, to make this district accountable. You know you have, because
Thank you,
this
Mr.
lady
Johnson.
would be the superintendent right now, and we would be better off, and that boy would still be alive.
Sounds a little personal. Personal, yeah. Sounds a little personal.
It don't matter, it is.
Ridiculous.
This is
That's
your
personal there.
That's personal.
Especially you say Hazelcrest.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about Hazelcrest?
Don't worry about it, we talk.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Right
All right,
outside.
thank you very much. I will let speak for 5 minutes each regarding the football schedules. If there's anything else afterwards, or someone else wants to speak afterwards, I'm only gonna ask that unless you have something new to add or different to add. But we're gonna leave it right now to these three comments that, or these three speakers that have submitted paperwork. So our first one is, Daisha Palmer.
We've come together.
Okay, that makes,
Yeah.
thank you.
We'll make it fast. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Daisha Palmer. My son is a freshman at Hillcrest. I've been out in this community since 2009. Yes, I am a resident of Hazelcrest. I came from the city of Chicago, from the east side where I grew up from. If anybody know Bourne High School, it's one of the rough schools that you can come from, but I worked hard, I persevered, I graduated, I ended up custody with my godmother's children. She got incarcerated, I was 20, I got them up out of the city, I worked hard, I graduated from Government State with my bachelor's degree, went to Purdue, ended up with my master's degree, so I worked for the state. I seen some changes out in this community, and I know that young man that he's talking about personally, he went to school with my son, with most of the children that's over there. And we are here as parents to speak for the whole team. Like, our kids have been through a lot of tragedies, a lot of situations. People have to be a little bit more sensitive of what they say out of their mouths. Everything we know, it always has something to do with a dollar. But I feel as me now, we have to take in consideration these kids' thoughts, their feelings. And I know everybody knows, Friday night football game, that's always something that everybody look forward to. Saturdays are a day where parents have to get up, run to the store, go cook, clean, get the kids ready, wash clothes. And I felt, I don't know where the change came from for these games that have to come. The schedule been changed from Friday night to Saturday. I really feel that was very insensitive because we are the parents. We are the ones that have to make sure these kids get to school. We are the ones that have to make sure that, you know, we put a lot of time in, a lot of dedication, not only with the sports, but also their grades. My son, he has, right now, he's number one of the, I know him and Jaden number 7, and my son number 11 out of the freshmen. So I'm putting a lot of time and energy in. I'm gonna be honest with you all, I'm already burnt out. I took 3 kids in that was 7, 11, and 13, and they are graduates of Hazelcrest, of Hillcrest, 2 of them. So it's a lot of work, and when you start changing schedules and things, I work on Saturdays, but I have flex schedule. I already set my schedule for the year to be off on Fridays, so I can be a part of what my son is doing. Oh, I'm married, and I'm not a single parent anymore by the grace of God, but my husband is a truck driver, over-the-road truck driver. He comes home from Thursday, to be able to come to these games, and be able to leave back out on Saturday. So they have to take that into consideration and think about not only, you know, because, and for me, I just feel like that was a power move. To me, I'm gonna be honest, that was really, really selfish. They should have, and I know it's protecting the whole object, but my job is, we, as parents, we could've came together. We could've put a plan together. We could've met with the police chief. We have to take this community back by force. We cannot keep running from situations allowing the aggressors to get, they winning the victory when our boys are suffering. You know, it's a lot that comes with those Friday games. Maybe if you all come out and you understand the value, but coming on a Saturday, our last game, and that was my first time working the concession stand, on a Saturday, you don't even get that same feeling. You don't get that same anything, and I just don't want, and they've been complaining, I don't want them to have to continue to take loss after loss after loss for something, they didn't pull that trigger.
Not even a kid from Hillcrest.
They did not, exactly, they didn't do that.
And I don't want, I'm not gonna take any time away from you, I'm gonna let you have your time to talk. I do just wanna emphasize that we had a town hall, so I hear your Karen's here.
The night of a football game. You had the town hall on the night of a Hillcrest football game, so the football parents weren't there.
So, we were responding to other parents, parents that were hurting, teachers that were hurting, students that were hurting, and asking the board, asking our administrators, what more can you do to protect my children?
Were they Hillcrest parents? Were they Hillcrest students?
I'm sorry, so, and I don't wanna sit here and try and solve, I don't wanna sit here and try and solve.
We asked,
but we were hearing.
We asked Ms. Christina for that meeting to be rescheduled because we was not, that was one of the, so we know that, not to give me 1 second, we know that JV, they don't recognize JV
But JV Hillcrest boys was the conference, the champ. Those boys put their heart out into every game after that situation because those boys was the ones, they were actually friends with that child. So they gave everything that they had out to become, they didn't recognize them, no one recognized these boys, they were conference champs. But I personally went to the principal myself and asked him, can he reschedule this meeting, but it was already set in stone. My thing is, if we are a community, and I know I'm a taxpayer in this community, they need to be more sensitive and be more involved. And I'm quite sure the parents that you all spoke to, not even the parents that shows up to the games, that have to put time in, have to work the concessions, that have to do this and that. So I don't think that was fair to make that decision without finding out who these kids were, who was the football kids' parents, and who put the time in with these kids, as well as the coaches and everyone else. Because I'm gonna tell you the truth. My first time seeing the principal was when I went to him when that situation happened. He's not the type of person that's out there in the front like I'm used to. I would like to see him a little bit more involved, and I know he's here, so I hope to hear, he can take that into consideration. But when we came to this first board meeting, you all received us with open hearts. That touched my heart because it wasn't no pushback. You all really listened to me, and that really changed my mindset. And you hear a lot of people with the stigma, they don't listen. That wasn't true. You all really, had your feelings on your sleeve that day because you all, as parents, I'm quite sure like men, because we was actually on the front line. My son and her son was actually with that child. 2 seconds before that happened. If I felt that these kids wasn't safe, I'm immediately, because that's my only child. I'm immediately gonna be like, wait a minute, hold on. But it's bigger than what we think.
You're right, and I definitely hear what you're saying. Thank you very much for acknowledging the board, with your concerns. I don't want you to feel that this was a power play, by no means. It is a tough decision, and we're trying to hear all parties. There are still discussions happening with our community right now. So you saw the schedule, you saw the potential for it to be on Saturday. Correct me if I'm wrong, nothing's permanent because there's still discussions happening. We are meeting with the mayors of the area to see what kind of resources they can provide with the local police departments, because we do need to find a way to make everybody feel good about the games if we keep them on Friday or we move them to Saturday. So that it's not something that we're saying, oh, this is what we're doing and you have to deal with it. Yes, sir.
Could you guys also take into consideration that these college scouts are not gonna come out on a Saturday morning to look at these kids? My son is the #1 student in Hillcrest right now in the freshman class, and he's also a football player, a wrestler. My daughter plays sports. She's in the top 5 in her class. My oldest daughter, graduated at the valedictorian, graduated from Marquette this year at the top of her class. We have been a part of this community a long ass time, and to not consider these kids their opportunity. Y'all are taking away their futures, their opportunities, not only to get scholarships, but to just be seen. Like no one in their right mind is getting up on those Saturday mornings to watch their high school. The students in these stands all the time on Friday nights. They're being seen, they're getting exposure, they're raising money for the school, they out there washing cars, and y'all are punishing them for being victims. Name one person in this room who was a victim of something, and you got punished for being a victim. That's not right. And I'm starting to think that it is some kind of discrimination going on with the other schools, because I've been here a long time, and every time we're in those stands, we hear the comments about Hillcrest. We hear the comments about us, the parents, the students, the way we look, the way we dress. So there is a underlying tension here, and don't punish our kids for something that a kid from another school came to our school and did to them. It wasn't the violence from these kids. We watch these kids, we're around these kids, they come to our houses, these kids are doing good in school, they're doing after school, the coaches are grabbing them, they all getting their haircuts, they're tired. These are good kids, they're not the cause of the violence, so they don't get to be punished because they were victims. As a matter of fact, they should be getting all awards, because those kids came back, they didn't put their head down, not one person dropped out, they came and kicked ass after they went through a traumatic experience. And you guys are not rewarding them, and are punishing them for going through a traumatic experience. But we're not gonna let our kids get punished, we're not.
There is no punishment whatsoever.
That is a punishment. That's a
That
punishment.
is.
They canceled dances, they didn't cancel their dances, they canceled homecoming, they taking every senior night. They've been punished, that's punishment.
Can we just
Yeah,
have
that's
a
punishment.
time talking?
So what we just pretty much are saying is that we losing a lot. They are losing a lot. I know as my son freshman year, and it's her son a freshman, that they didn't go to their homecoming dance. I mean, I look forward to my homecoming, and I tell my son every day, I'm like, enjoy the moment. Because I can tell you now, I'm 40. If I could go back to 16, I would have went to everything that Bourne offered. But I didn't. I did not take, I didn't take that experience, and I didn't live in that moment. So when we taking stuff away, these gonna be something that they're gonna always remember. I didn't have my
This gentleman right here, when you take things away, when they are doing the right thing, you can say that it's not a punishment, but the perspective from those young men is they're being punished for doing the right thing. And unfortunately, as black kids, because I've been a black man for 41 years, and I've never been afraid to say it, that often happens 2 times when everybody else never looks like us. It feels like our voice is not being heard. It feels like we do not have a person to help fight us. And it's an unfortunate thing, because I've watched those kids and I've been at their practices and seen it. We cannot continue to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It cannot continue to happen. The morale in Hillcrest is the lowest ever. There's a lot of things that happen that we don't want to discuss. When they go to the basketball games, if they're not with a parent, they got to go up to the top and sit. When we went to Hillcrest, Dean, Stringer, anybody else that went to Hillcrest, that was where Tiffany, Marquis, that was what made Hillcrest fun. Because we could be there, and we can cheer for our school, and we can show that school spirit that we don't have anymore. There's a lot of things that it's just not making sense. It's not making sense to us. There was over 707 signatures signed that said that they don't want the night football games to be taken away. I've talked with Mayor Ellsbury, Mr. Weaver, and Mayor Ellsbury, I just spoke to him before I came to this meeting, and Trustee Riaz from Hazelcrest can attest to it. We are dedicated. I'm dedicated. I work with District 227, Ms. Taylor can attest to that, and I help with their safety plan. And we have, nothing's perfect, but I'm willing to donate my time. I don't want no money, because I love Hillcrest. I just want to make sure that everybody is safe and everybody gets treated fair. And right now, the students at Hillcrest don't feel like they're being treated fair. And at some point in time, we have to say, enough is enough. People come to Hillcrest all the time. I go to Hillcrest, I've never felt unsafe. And contrary to popular belief, guns don't stop shooting on Saturdays. They don't stop shooting on Saturdays. It's an unfortunate thing in the life that we live in. It's completely different than when we all grew up. We understand that. But the easiest fix is not always the best fix. Those people came and said, what can we do to improve safety? And the only thing that we came up with was, well, we're not gonna play at night no more. Those kids deserve that. And just like he said, so now they don't get to get scouted?
Well, don't take my words out of context, because there's many things that we have been doing, and yes, there are many things that we have been doing, and at the town hall, our principal demonstrated the safety stuff that was already in plan, along with the lights that have been improved, and the protocol that the teachers and the administrators have, not only on a daily basis, but at football games to help with safety, so.
Okay, so I gotta ask this one question.
Sure.
We're gonna take away Friday night football games. But just Friday night, we had a basketball game, and they let those kids come out at night, and they walked the same path, and they went the same way. So what is the difference then and now? This doesn't sound like an issue of safety. This sounds like an issue of football. And it's an unfortunate thing. I'm just gonna be honest with you, Madam President, and I'm not trying to be rude in any way, but I will defend what we see. If you're going to make changes like that, then let's have realistic changes, because what's the difference between a Friday night basketball game let out?
know a schedule was probably set before this incident even happened.
What's the difference between the game at Hillcrest and at Tinley Park? So shouldn't all the games be Saturday across the board?
I mean, that's what we're doing.
We're trying to prepare for the new year, trying to figure out what options are available to us and how we can help.
But I think that we have to, and like I said, I don't wanna be argumentative with you because I respect this board. You know, I respect everybody on this board. I have no ill will towards anybody. But I do have a vested interest in Hillcrest because I walked those halls and I lived in Hazel Crest, 3210 Maple Lane. You know, and I still go back right now, and I help with football, and I help with basketball, and I help with baseball, because I love that school. And right now, it doesn't feel like we're being treated fairly like everybody else in the district. We're not even being treated fairly like everybody in the school. Our kids deserve certain things.
And I don't know if this board made anybody feel that way, because that was never our.
Well, the board didn't make that decision. I got a question for you, Mr. Superintendent. Who usually does the football schedule, the AD or the principal?
The athletic director.
Okay, so why did the principal do this one?
The athletic director did this. He sends out the contracts.
Dr. Young did this?
Dr. Young is the athletic director.
No.
Dr. Young fix that?
Because when we asked Dr. Young, we was told, that really wasn't our decision. That wasn't my decision. Now, if it's a lie, hey, if that's what you're saying, I have no reason to say that you are saying anything wrong. That's just not what we're getting back. Because we're the type, and this is some things that I'll let you know. When this happened, okay, I've never met Principal Towner before. Never met him before in my life. When this happened, I made a phone call to my friend Bernard Osbury, who's the mayor of Hazel Crest, and said, hey, so what can we do? Because we know that this is a safety issue and it needs to be improved. Okay? By the end of that day, and I never met Principal Towner, I was being told that my name was being mentioned, my name Mick Smith, and it doesn't bother me. And from Mr. Towner about why is this being blown out of proportion, he could have called me. Like, these are the things that we're talking about. These are the things that we're saying. Like, the community wants to get involved. We don't want to fight. Nobody wants to see kids get killed. Nobody in this room, none of those people over there want kids to get killed. But we also don't want our kids to feel like they're not good enough, or they're not intelligent enough, or they don't act properly in order to be able to have a Saturday night football game.
And that's why I very much appreciate you and all the parents. Thank you very much for all coming here, because we want to hear your voices. If it, we want to continue these discussions. If it makes you feel, reassures you any further, Mr. Townsend, myself, Dr. Spro, we have a meeting with Mayor Ellsbury on Monday, so that we can
Oh, I know, I'm
talk
supposed to be
about
here.
options. So we can talk about options, so we can talk about solutions. So again, we're not close to having conversations or discussions about this and finding
Well,
a solution.
I appreciate you, but I think that you may be open, but I don't think everybody that you said is open. Because when I talked to Mayor Osbury, after he had a conversation with Mr. Towner, he said, oh, this guy's dead set on, he doesn't care what nobody thinks, this is what's gonna happen. See, these are the conversations that I've had behind, that maybe you guys aren't privy to, and anything that I say, that's why it's being recorded, somebody recorded, anything that I say, I'll repeat. I'm not one of those people that make up things.
To just add, we do have a meeting scheduled, we'll all be together, so what I would prefer is direct communication. So if there's something that you're hearing is hearsay, let's set up meetings.
And get it done and
let's
talk
get
about it.
together.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And thank you guys for letting me speak.
Thank you. You got
Yes?
I'm gonna be before you, I'm not gonna walk to the front. I'm one of the parents of Hillcrest as well. Can my football players please stand for me? Some of these gentlemen's been waiting for 4 years, going on their 4th year, going to their 6th year for the moment of their Friday night game. And I just do want to mention, I have heard, and it breaks my heart, because this is, again, one of the moments that they've been waiting for. My son, Aramis Wright, which is #1 in the state. And it breaks my heart for him to say, to feel like they most of the parents said that, a lot of recruiters won't come out, et cetera, the scouters or whatever. And I know my child works on season, off season, he's still working. He was born, he's still working. And he loved Hillcrest. But to take his Friday night game, he's telling me, and I'm hearing it from most of them, that they don't even probably wanna play no more. So they lose interest because they're taken away from something that they've been waiting for. So I'm just saying, they have a passion for it. And they'll be class of 2025 is the moment that they're waiting for. Just for this what they've been fighting for from freshman year on to now. So I don't want him to, he's not gonna lose interest, but he said he don't wanna attend. If Hillcrest, if his Friday night, because this is a moment for them to shine and have fun, and for us parents as well. Most of us work during the day, so we look forward to coming at 5 or 6 o'clock. And that's all I have to say. These fellas, they want their time.
Thank you, and thank you for coming today. All right, can I get a motion to go to closed session to consider information regarding the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, 5 ILCS subsection 122C1, and student disciplinary cases, 5 ILCS subsection 122C9.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Motley. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Motley? Aye. Mrs. Bliss? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stern?
Aye.
Mrs. Russell?
Aye. By Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Motley. Can I get roll call, please?
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Motley?
Aye.
Mrs. List? Aye. Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Stern?
Aye.
Mrs. Russell?
Aye. Moving on to new business.
I move to expel with services student 022124 for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year as discussed in closed session on February 20th, 2024.
Second.
Moved by Ms. List, second by Mr. Whitcomb. Roll call, please.
Ms. List, aye. Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Ms. Lot?
Aye.
Ms. Motley?
Aye.
Ms. Stern?
Aye.
Ms. Russell?
Aye. Our announcements are as follow. Our next committee of the whole meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 12th, 6:45 p.m. at Bremen High School. And our next regular board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 19th, 7 p.m. at Bremen High School. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Motley. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening.